I do want to bring up the fact, in addition to Conrad being a consummate actor, he is also one of the consummate trombone players of this era and any era. And I mean, if you read Conrad's bio, and it's just phenomenal. He really is a Renaissance man. But you came to the trombone and music after you had been an actor.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, I was out here, and you were asking me what I was doing while I was under contract at Fox, and I was not going in every day to study. And I had to do something to kill the time. And I got interested through a musicologist friend of the family in New Orleans jazz. The idea of improvised music. You know, they were doing, bebop was going very well then, but that was very advanced and was only in New York. So I got into it, and you had it out here, a great trombone player by the name of Kid Ory. That's right. And he used to play at a place called Beverly Cavern. And I got to listening to that band, which was a real New Orleans jazz band, because Ory goes all the way back to the beginnings of New Orleans jazz. And he's now in his 50s and 60s, and he has his original jazz band out here. So we had a real New Orleans jazz band in Los Angeles for quite a few years, and there was a Dixieland or New Orleans jazz revival at the time. This is the middle 40s.
Right.
And Ory was leading it, along with Bob Johnson and Louis Armstrong and some people like that. And I used to go every night to listen to Kid Ory play. And he had a wonderful sense of rhythm. He was not melodically very complicated, but his sense of rhythm was absolutely fantastic. And the band had a wonderful bounce to it. And in the course of 8 or 9 months of going and listening to him every night, I inadvertently memorized all of his solos, because what he would do is, from night to night, he would vary his solo on a given song slightly, but it was still fairly much the same. But if you saw him over a period, if you saw him 3 months later, it would be a completely different solo. But night to night, it changed only slightly.
Did you memorize this by ear, or do you know how to read music?
Inadvertently.
Just inadvertently?
Yeah, just from listening to him.
The actor.
Well, whatever it was, you know, so that when I finally got a hold of a trombone, which is a whole other story, I started playing and realized, I didn't realize that I had memorized his stuff, but I could play very badly, but I, you know, stumbling, but I could still, I knew what to play because I had it in my ear. Even to this day, I still have him in my ear. And still play that kind of, we still play that kind of rambunctious early New Orleans jazz, which I like a lot.
And I remember first seeing you before I was watching film Mork and Mindy. Mork and Mindy, and then Frasier. What was it like working with Robin Williams in his younger days?
Exactly what you would imagine. He was absolutely, he was wonderfully insane. And he was picked up from San Francisco as a last-minute replacement for a Happy Days television show where he was going to play a spaceman called Mork from Ork. And how that got, that's another whole story, how that got is very interesting, but we don't have time for that. And it's the #1 show on Happy Days, which ran 8 or 9 years. It's the show that's the highest rated show they ever did. And so from that, the network spun off immediately without a pilot into a series with Rob. And I came to the series late because they had another actor that was playing the part, and they got, they fell apart. And I came in there and took over the last couple of days, and we did it. And I never heard an audience shower love on a performer like they did on Robin. They just absolutely adored him. And he was wonderful to work with. He had a photographic memory. He would pick up the script, read it through once, and he knew it.
Wow.
And then, of course, the improvising began, because what he would do is, you know, they wrote jokes for him, and he would do them a couple of times in rehearsal, and he would get to a joke that he didn't care for,
Throw it out and put another one in.
And I have 2 or 3.
Wow.
And sometimes he wouldn't do that until we actually went in front of an audience. And he'd do one and louse it up on purpose, and then come back with a second joke, and louse that up on purpose, and then come back with a third joke.
Yeah.
He planned all of this in his mind, and had the confidence and the ability to do this. Is absolutely superb. And he was like, it was like seeing somebody walk over Niagara Falls on a tightrope. I mean, he didn't know what he was doing.
Did he give the other actors their cue lines, or did you just have to stay on your toes and roll with the punches?
No, he never a cue. When Robin would go off on a tear,
Yeah.
and I almost always had, playing the father, almost always had the next, well, Mork, do you
Reacting to him.
I had to come in and start the scene again.
Right.
It almost always fell to me, and I just had to stand there and wait until I thought he was finished.
1,000, 2,000,
Right, yeah.
3,000.
Generally, the audience would applaud, and when the applause died, I'd say, well, Mork, what do you,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and we'd
yeah.
go from
So you
there.
got into a rhythm with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was absolutely wonderful.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, you're absolutely marvelous. This was wonderful. I mean, we could do this for another hour. And I would like to say one thing. There is somewhere in the vast recesses of Fox Home Entertainment, there is a commentary track with Conrad and my friend and colleague Eddie Muller
That's
for
right.
the Brasher Doubloon that has been sitting around for I don't know how many years. And I would like anybody at Fox or anybody anywhere, I would hope they would release that title and put Eddie and Conrad's commentary track on, because I know it's brilliant. And Conrad, thank you so much.
Thank you.